Once highly sought after by Chinese companies, overseas returnees known as haigui are now being referred to as haifei or overseas waste. Many returning graduates are unable to secure employment, while those who do often find themselves jobless amid ongoing waves of layoffs.
我本人作为一个刚毕业的英国
As
人，
a recent graduate who studied in the UK, I've truly experienced the reality of graduation equals unemployment. Returning home has left me stuck at home with no prospects. I feel utterly lost about my future. A 30-year-old master's graduate from the United States, Fan Yingfan, was laid off in Shanghai and has since begun life as an unemployed worker.
Amid the wave of unemployment, I've had the privilege of becoming part of it. Today marks my first day of being jobless. Time to set a few goals for myself. I won't let this period go to waste.
Fan Yifan, a marketing graduate, now plans to prioritize fitness while exploring new opportunities in Japan. As 2025 begins, the Chinese government has introduced new policies that have delivered a significant blow to overseas graduates returning from prestigious universities. Applications for the 2025 civil service exams have opened, but provinces like Beijing and Guangdong have barred overseas returnees from participating in the program for special civil servant recruits. The Special Civil Servants Recruit programs, overseen by provincial party committees, recruits top graduates annually for grassroots roles. These individuals are groomed as future party and government leaders, enjoying faster promotions and better benefits compared to regular civil servants. The program includes two categories: general selection, typically assigned to grassroots roles in towns and community offices, and targeted selection, who are placed in higher level government offices such as county, municipal, or provincial departments. In the past, graduates from top overseas universities were highly sought after for these positions. However, recent policy shifts have increasingly excluded these groups. Experts suggest this change reflects the Chinese Communist Party's growing emphasis on political loyalty and its heightened caution towards graduates holding foreign degrees, which are viewed as potential threats to the regime. For many overseas returnees, public sector jobs have been a vital career path, making these policy changes particularly damaging. According to Chinese media reports, the number of applicants for the 2025 China Civil Service examination has reached a record high of 3.4 million, an increase of nearly 400,000 from last year. However, the number of available civil servant positions is set at only 39,700, an increase of just 160 roles. This marks the first time since 2021 that the competition ratio for the national exam has exceeded 80 to 1. Of the 39,700 civil servant positions available, 26,700 are designated for fresh university graduates and 27,500 are allocated for county level or township authorities. Chinese educational institutions once promoted the idea that the ultimate goal of studying abroad is to join the government. As a result, civil service exams, national public exams, and positions in public institutions have become increasingly popular career choices for returning overseas graduates. For many graduates of prestigious overseas universities, excelling in the special civil servant selection process is a coveted goal. After investing millions in education abroad, securing a stable job within the government system close to centers of power is seen as a worthwhile outcome. This is especially true during economic downturn, as civil service positions offer not only stability but also attractive benefits. In the past, local governments often prioritized providing opportunities for overseas returnees in civil service recruitment. For instance, according to data from a study abroad agency, Guangdong Province recruited 54 overseas graduates in its 2024 Special Civil Servant Recruitment Program. Students from top universities like Harvard, Cambridge, and Oxford were previously eligible to apply for Guangdong's Special Civil Servant Recruits Program. However, in Beijing's 2025 civil service recruitment, these three universities, along with 60 other leading overseas institutions, have been excluded from the eligibility list. Shandong province has also barred Chinese graduates from overseas universities from participating in its 2025 Special Civil Servant Recruits Program. Henan province recently issued a policy allowing applicants from foreign universities to apply for its general and legal specialist selection programs, but only if they hold a master's degree or higher and completed their undergraduate studies at a domestic university. A survey conducted by the China Global Youth Summit revealed that 17.7% of overseas graduates ranked taking the civil service exam as their top post-graduation goal, making it the third most popular choice. This underscores a strong interest among overseas returnees in joining the government system. Furthermore, 74.4% of survey students recognize the existence of a civil service exam fever within the overseas returnee community. A Chinese student studying in Washington, Han Yutao, noted that Chinese students from wealthy families often prefer to return to China after graduation to pursue careers in the government. Han explained that these families already in position of power aim to use their children's overseas degrees to obtain roles within the government system, thereby preserving their influence and status. Professor Frank Tianxie from the University of South Carolina Aiken's Business School explained that students selected for the Special Civil Servants Recruits program often enjoy a significant head start in their careers. He said those selected for the Special Civil Servant Recruits programs receive special grooming and are fast-tracked for leadership roles within the government. Their personnel files are handled differently as they are viewed as seeds of communism by the CCP. These individuals often come from influential backgrounds or have special connections, making these opportunities inaccessible to ordinary candidates who pass the civil service exams. In October 2023, China's state-run China Newsweek magazine reported that several provincial-level administrative regions had opened targeted special civil servant recruitment programs. These regions included Beijing, Shanghai, Chongqing, Guangdong, Shandong, Sichuan, and Henan, focusing specifically on returning overseas graduates. However, just a year later, the policy direction has shifted dramatically. Many regions are now closing their special civil servant programs to overseas returnees. Associate Professor Fen Chongyi from the University of Technology, Sydney, told Voice of America that studying abroad in the 1980s was regarded as a symbol of China's political reform and opening up. At that time, foreign degrees carry significant prestige, and the government civil service system prioritized hiring these graduates. During the Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao presidency eras, overseas returnees remained highly sought after. However, under current Xi Jinping's leadership, the past decade has seen a growing trend of discrimination against returning students by Chinese authorities. Fen said that during Jiang Zemin's tenure, then Vice President Zheng Qinghong was head of the CCP's organization department. He organized large-scale training and exchange programs. Later, Li Yuanchao took over this position and continued this practice, sending many cadres abroad for training. Back then, overseas management knowledge and experience were highly valued, and studying abroad was seen as an important asset. But now the political climate has changed dramatically. Media reports suggest that the selection criteria for special civil servants are far stricter than more politically driven than those for regular civil service positions. For instance, many provinces like Henan require applicants for special civil servants to meet at least one of the following conditions: be a member of the CCP, have served as a student leader for more than a year, have received university level or higher awards, or possesses military service experience during their university years. According to the media, political loyalty, ambition, and a strong sense of responsibility are prioritized above all else. As China's special civil servant policies increasingly focus on political loyalty, overseas returnees are finding themselves sidelined. This trend highlights the Chinese government's struggle to balance international engagement with political security. Feng believes that the exclusion of overseas returnees reflect the CCP's growing mistrust of the outside world. He said that by barring returnees from special civil servant programs, the government is preventing China from integrating with global civilization and pushing the country further towards isolation. In the eyes of the CCP, Chinese graduates from prestigious Western university bring back not only foreign management expertise but also Western values, ideas, and practices. These individuals often disapprove of the CCP's bureaucratic system and party culture and may introduce concepts of democracy, freedom, and other ideologies critical of communism. Fung believes that overseas returnees have always been a double-edged sword for the CCP. Events like the COVID-19 pandemic and the White Paper movement have heightened the regime's distrust of this group. The authorities likely see this risk posed by these individuals as too great and are now tightening restrictions. The decline in the value placed on overseas returnees began years ago, but has worsened in recent years. According to China's Ministry of Education, from 1978 to 2019, a total of 6.56 million Chinese students studied abroad. Of these, 4.9 million completed their studies, with 4.23 million choosing to return to China to pursue their careers, accounting for 86% of graduates. In 2021, the number of returning Chinese students exceeded 1 million for the first time. However, the value of being an overseas returnee, haigui, has dropped sharply. Many returnees now mockingly refer to as overseas waste, haifei, struggling to find jobs offering even 10,000 yuan a month after spending millions on their overseas education. Experts point out several key factors driving this trend. First, youth unemployment in China continues to rise, with many university graduates struggling to secure jobs, a challenge that has become a new norm. This has significantly diminished the once strong competitive edge of overseas returnees. Additionally, the CCP's implementation of the anti-espionage law has amplified government concerns over the political loyalty of returning students. Following the global pandemic, China's economy failed to rebound as swiftly as other nations and has instead entered a prolonged decline. Many state-owned enterprises have either scaled back operations or shut down entirely. Meanwhile, foreign invested companies are increasingly relocating from China to Southeast Asia countries, leading to widespread layoffs and leaving countless workers unemployed. As of 2025, China's unemployment rate remains alarmingly high, and the job market is grim.
上班了，发现公司倒闭了。
On December 30th, I showed up for work only to find the company had shut down. I worked here for 2 months, but I haven't received a single paycheck. In China, workers in their mid-30s are often considered past the prime in the workplace, frequently replaced by younger talent. Layoffs and income loss has become a harsh reality for many in this age group.
被裁了。
I was laid off. After that, I was no longer the director and everyone used to call me. Now it's raining outside. How ironic. I graduated with a bachelor's and master's from a Project 985 university. I was once a senior software engineer and I thought I could see out my career at this company. From being the fresh recruit, Little Anne, to Director Anne, and now just Miss Anne. I've come full circle. My monthly take-home salary used to be around 28,000 yuan. This year marks my 4th year in artificial intelligence, filled with endless overtime and takeout meals, sometimes so rushed that I didn't even have time for my next meal. Today is my 1,481st day at this company. I started the day feeling excited and eager to present my latest research report and break through to my boss. Instead, the boss suddenly asked me to hand over all of my projects to my mentee, including my team management responsibilities. My salary was slashed to less than 3,000 yuan. The moment I heard this, my mind went blank. Is this the infamous 35-year-old hurdle? I just turned 35. My child is barely over a year old, and now I have to face a future without income. According to the 2024 College Graduate Employability Survey report by Chinese job portal Zhaopin, a record of 11.8 million college graduates should have entered the job market in China in 2024. However, more than half of them remain unemployed, underscoring the harsh reality of graduation equals unemployment and highlighting the deep challenges facing China's struggling economy. Peking University professor Zhang Dandan reported that China's actual youth unemployment rate soared to 46.5% in July 2023, with even higher figures expected in 2024. Many college graduates are being forced into low-paying jobs to survive.
我们毕业于华东师范大学新闻传播学院。
I graduated from Central China Normal University School of Journalism and Communication. It's been 5 years since I've graduated and I only have 5,000 yuan in savings. I earned a master's degree from the Communication University of China 2 years after graduating, and my last job was cleaning at a hot pot restaurant. Haha, who could have thought it'd come to this? A graduate from Tsinghua University, one of China's most prestigious institutions, now relies on food delivery work to make a living. Earning money is really tough. I work 10-hour shifts at a supermarket for just 100 yuan a day, not even enough to cover meals. A boxed meal costs 15 yuan, so I could only afford a piece of bread. Amidst the fierce competition between returning overseas graduates and domestic students for scarce jobs, the CCP introduced the anti-espionage law in July 2023. State media ramped up propaganda, urging citizens to participate in nationwide anti-espionage efforts and report suspected spies in exchange for lucrative rewards. This has created an atmosphere of heightened paranoia and fear. That same year, the Ministry of State Security issued a statement warning that everyday items such as pens, lighters, and tissue boxes could possess hidden capabilities like eavesdropping, recording, sensing, or transmitting data. If used for espionage activities, these objects would be classified as special spy equipment, posing a significant threat to national security. The anti-espionage law dramatically expanded the definition of espionage and related activities, turning it into a tool for suppression. Its primary targets include not only Chinese citizens but also foreigners and foreign companies operating in China. Overseas returnees have become key suspects, with many businesses hesitant to hire them to avoid the constant scrutiny and potential investigations from authorities. The CCP harbors concerns that overseas returnees might be agents of Western forces strategically placed in Chinese institutions as anti-government operatives. Many overseas returnees, haigui, worked in Chinese companies report feeling under constant surveillance. Despite excelling in their roles, career advancement is often out of reach. For those who invested heavily in obtaining prestigious foreign degrees, the shame of being perceived as untrustworthy has become a harsh and unexpected consequence. This growing mistrust has been compared to the pre-Cultural Revolution era, when students returning from Western countries were labeled as having foreign connections and were automatically suspected of espionage. Former lecturer at People's Public Security University of China and practicing U.S. lawyer Mike Gao questioned why the CCP is so intent on hunting for spies. He explained that it's a reflection of Xi Jinping's deep sense of insecurity about himself and the regime. Feeling unsafe, he's driven to see spies everywhere. Since the enchantment of the anti-espionage law, the CCP has repeatedly announced espionage cases it claims to have uncovered. Many of these accusations involve allegations that Chinese students were recruited as spies while studying abroad and returned to China to carry out espionage activities. Former Deputy Director Dong Yuyu of the editorial department at the CCP-owned Guangming Daily newspaper was a participant in Harvard University's Nieman Fellowship Program. He was also a visiting scholar at Japan's Keio University and Hokkaido University. In February 2022, he was taken away and detained by Beijing's police during a lunch meeting with a Japanese diplomat and later sued for espionage. On November 29, 2024, a Beijing court sentenced Dong Yuyu to 7 years in prison for allegedly engaging in espionage activities. According to a statement from Dong Yuyu's family, the court ruling accused Japan's embassy in Beijing of being a spy organization. Several Japanese diplomats known to Dong, including a former ambassador to China and the current chief diplomat in Shanghai, were labeled as spies. Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs denied the allegations, stating that its diplomatic missions are engaged in legitimate duties carried out by diplomats. Nicholas Burns, the U.S. ambassador to China and a former Harvard professor, condemned the decision, describing it as unjust. Many Chinese students had pinned their hopes on studying abroad to boost their qualifications and secure promising careers upon returning to China. Instead, they now face dual challenges: widespread unemployment and an intensified anti-espionage crackdown. Adding to their woes, stricter political standards have effectively barred them from competing for civil servant positions. Numerous overseas returnees expressed disappointment, lamenting that they left with high hopes and passion only to return with a disheartening reality. Civil servant positions in China are often referred to as the iron rice bowl, symbolizing jobs with guaranteed security, stability, and benefits. While the current number of civil servants remain undisclosed, a 2016 report from the Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security revealed that by the end of 2015, there were 7.2 million civil servants in national government institutions. This figure only accounts for national-level civil servants. When including all publicly funded positions, conservative estimates place the total number of government-supported employees in China at around 50 million. This workforce is considered vital for maintaining social stability. Reports emerged shortly after New Year's Day that civil servants across the country had received a 5% salary increase amounting to an additional 500 yuan or more per month. However, in a struggling economy, the government's decision to prioritize salary hikes for civil servants while neglecting subsidies for the general public has fueled widespread frustration and discontent. Critics argue that China's government cannot afford such raises and that the move is a calculated effort to secure loyalty and morale among its civil servants. Similarly, excluding overseas returnees from the civil service is seen as another measure to consolidate the CCP's hold on the power.